All right, so this is what I'm going to cover today. It's going to be fun. We'll be learning why hackers attack the websites, how they get into your website as well, and then, of course, most importantly, steps on how to actually repair your website and then keep them out. Prevention is better than the cure. And trust me, I've unhacked, dehacked, I don't know what the right word is for this, so many websites over my career, it's just driven me crazy. And for some reason, people keep on coming back to me for this unhacking process. But let me share with you guys how I go through it all. So who am I? I've been building WordPress sites since it came out. So I've been blogging and building sites on movable type, WordPress, over 22 years. Like I said, I've unhacked countless amount of websites. We build a lot of websites for clients. We build plugins now. And one of our plugins, GardanoPress, which integrates blockchain and WordPress, was audited by PatchStack. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And also the founder of Mesh with Us, our agency, formerly known as PP Web Dev. This is my, just going back down memory lane, this is my first website from 2002. So anyone got some horrid websites they want to share later? Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, so like I was saying, I just wanted to mention PatchStack because they're probably the biggest security auditing firm in the WordPress sphere. They look for all the plugin vulnerabilities out there, theme vulnerabilities, and we were lucky enough to be audited by them for the plugin that we built, and we learnt a huge amount from these guys. So if you ever want to look up PatchStack and get your plugin, if you're developing something or even your website audited, you do have the opportunity to go through PatchStack as well. It's not cheap. Okay, so this is what we're going to cover. Who has seen this message appear on their website, client website, whatever it might be? Sorry. Yep, a couple of people. Well, this, when a client comes to you and says, hey, my site's been hacked and this appears, my heart usually pounds and I get all sweaty and go, oh my God, what have I done wrong? But there's an easy way out of this. So first off, we've got to understand how the hackers get in. What are they doing? So the most common one is a brute force attack. They're looking at your WP login screen, how they're getting in, and they're probably using the most common username and passwords out there. So if you're still using, hopefully you're not, username admin, password is password, then that's just inviting the hackers to come in and just manipulate your site and take over. So make sure you're using strong passwords. Your password may have also been leaked on the dark web. So if you're on many of these other websites out there, I'll show you in a second, your passwords may have been stored in plain text and now is just being passed around the internet being sold. Also, of course, vulnerable plugins and themes. There's many of them out there, and I'll show you that in a moment as well. But that's an attack vector where people can get into your website and take over your resources, whatever it is. Okay, here's an exercise for you guys. Keep you awake. Have I been pawned? Who has used this website before? Great. Now I want to run a little competition. Let's see who has the highest score here, as in how many websites you've been compromised on. So scan away, type in your main email address, it's safe, and we'll have a little competition. Let's see, where am I? I'm here. Everyone scanned, or you can type in, have I been pawned? Cool. Couple of people still scanning, come on. Type in your main email address that you use. Yeah, you there? Okay, cool. All right, now I'm going to type in mine. So this is one of the reasons why we changed our domain name and did a rebrand. The old email was compromised so much in these data breaches that I was just like, yeah, no, I can't deal with this anymore. Live demos. John. Okay, all right. I got 22. Anyone got higher? Yep. What is it? 24? Not bad, not bad. Any higher than 24? Okay, all right. 24. Oh, you got higher? Okay, all right. But yeah, 22 is quite high. It's because of the longevity of the email. I've used it for years across multiple different services. But this here gives you a history timeline of where it's been compromised and where your data is being pushed around the web. So this is Telegram, Trello. A lot of people use Trello. So this is back in January 2024. Epic, I have no idea what that is. LinkedIn scraping, they took all my data off there, great. Gravatar, a lot of people in the WordPress community use that. Ledger, that ties in the crypto space, and so on and so on. So Lead Hunter, I don't know what this is. I don't know what half these websites are, but they have my data and it's been stolen. Canva, DZ, yeah, okay. So you're the winner, sir, 24. Congratulations. All right, back to the presentation. 0. Yeah. Yeah, well, it depends what data they got. But if if you're using a common password across all your websites, and if you're using like the same username, email, and password across all your websites, and it gets compromised on the dark web, you're pretty much screwed. You got to change your password for everything. This one here is the view from Google Suite. So if you're using Google Suite and go through the admin console and then look through security, somewhere hidden in there, they'll tell you where and what data is being sold on the dark web. So this is, again, my data being sold and breached and sold on the dark web. So 66 data breaches according to Google. Now this is a view of last year's vulnerabilities published by PatchStack. So just under 8,000. You know, a couple of more plugins out there, if they got some vulnerabilities, would have hit that 8,000 mark. But this is something you need to be aware of. There's that many plugins out there that are compromised, and you may be installing these on a regular basis, and you have no idea. So be aware of what's being compromised out there. And we can go to this website. I've got it open. So this is it here. So patchstack.com/database. I think I've got a QR code as well. So if you want to follow it, yep, I do. So you can scan that QR code if you want. Bookmark it. Very useful resource. Cool. PatchStack. And I will do a little test here. Now, this is nothing against this plugin. I absolutely love it. I use it on a daily basis. But the corresponding plugins that build on top of it also have issues. So you can see all of these reported issues just a day ago, 3 days ago, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So you may be using the core plugin, and the core plugin is absolutely fantastic. But if you're using additional add-ons on top of that, and you think that you're okay, you're possibly not. There's another security vulnerability there. And hackers can use that, get in, manipulate a website, compromise your data. So it's another thing you need to think about. So PatchStack, absolutely fantastic. And Elementor is good as well. Just saying. All right. So the other question when clients come to us is, why me? Why are they attacking me? Like, what have they got against my business? I'm a contractor. I do gravel, and why are they attacking my website? And it's not you. Don't take it personally. It's about using your website to spread more malware, harvest username, passwords, promote scams and spams, and essentially just use your server resources. So if they can get into your server and start sending out spam emails, fantastic. They'll get someone else down the line and compromise username or passwords there. Hopefully, I guess, that I'm assuming they're trying to get into your banking passwords, transfer money, me in the crypto space, crypto wallets, and once that Bitcoin's gone, it's gone. You're never getting it back. So what next? Recovery steps. And this is what we'll go through. Restoring the website, finding the malware wherever it is hidden, clean up, removing, and then protecting your website afterwards. So if you do, I hope you do, have multiple levels of backups, restore a backup onto that live website, or block the traffic from getting to it. So this is to stop other people from being compromised. So you may have your customers, if you're a Graveler, your customers coming to the website and suddenly they're getting compromised. They're putting in their email address on the website thinking they're trying to contact you, but they're actually giving it away to the scammers as well. So it's because they want a valid email address. They don't want these fake ones. So that's a possible attack vector. And if you can, most of the hosting environments out there do give you a staging environment setup. So you can copy your website, your hacked website, over to a staging environment or even to your local environment. And then from there, you can start debugging and working out where the hack came in from. No. No, restore. Who's saying this? I can't. Oh, yeah. No, restore. If you have a good backup that you know that's not compromised, restore that onto the website. But yes, I know what you're going to say. It will get hacked again straight away. But or if you can, block that traffic from coming to the website in the first place. So you're protecting. Yep. And you'll probably be hacked again in the next 5 minutes. Yep. And I'll go over that in a moment too. Where was I? Copy the hack website, local environment. Okay. Use a scanning tool of some sort, something that looks for the malware. WordFence is very common. Securi kind of does a nice job. But you also need to scan the database because a lot of this malware may be actually embedded in the database. And some of these malware tools don't do a great job of scanning the database, so you need to look into there as well. You also hopefully have your website in Google Search Console because that will give you a lot of clues of where the possible malware is on your website. And hopefully also you have some sort of logging, audit logs within your website as well, so you can find out what's being possibly manipulated. So you can pinpoint what the plugin might be. And then we'll look into common locations of where these hacks are. So removing the malware. Removing the malware. So WordFence, like I said, does a fantastic job of looking for that manipulated code that may be within your website. The manual removing process I'll talk about in a moment. And then if you have any plugins that may be out of date or you think may be compromised, completely deleting them, reinstalling them is probably a good point of call because you can get the fresh version of it from the WordPress repositories that hopefully have been patched, and then you can delete any copy of that plugin on your local environment. And of course, update everything. And if all that fails, get some help. Ask another developer. So we're going to go through an example recovery. Oh, yeah, I did bring water. All right, this is where it's fun. So this is where we're at. We've got a compromised website. So like I said, let's lock down the website. And a lot of the host environments are out there. You may be familiar with this. You have the option to password lock it. So this one here is through one of the hosting providers out here. You tick a simple option and it puts that HTTP username password on so that you're now protecting your potential customers. So that's a really nice option. I'm pretty sure the majority of the hosting environments out there have that. Restore backup. If you have a clean environment, different hosting provider, whatever it is, or you're restoring a backup to a local environment, like a local development environment where you can actually start going through things, really good option. This one here, I'm restoring, just as an example, it's restoring a copy of a previous backup, the staging environment, and then you just label it so you know what you're working with. This is Google Search Console. Do people use it still? Yeah, okay, good. So Google Search Console, this is an example of where it's detected the particular malware, and you can see what pages it's potentially seen on. So you can go through those pages and see what Google is seeing. And later we have to come back to this and then report it. So this is a great detective tool so you can find out where the malware potentially is. So I'll be going through all this, trying to work out where things are. Now, one of the logging tools that we use is Activity Logger. We could look at the server logs as well, but I don't know if a lot of people are really good at looking through lines and lines of server logs. But this one here is a nice, more visual way of going through things. I think it was originally created by someone else, but I think Elemental bought it. This is what it kind of looks like. And this is from a website that was de-hacking earlier this week. I was trying to work out where and what the potential hackers were doing. This is just a whole lot of brute force attacks against the customer's account. So you can see the logging is saying failed login, failed login. I don't think WordFence here at the moment is blocking these particular intrusions. And you can see where this intrusion is actually coming from as well. So you can see these IP addresses. And if you do a little lookup on these IP addresses, you can find out where they're coming from. So you can make sure it's not someone local or your client that is actually trying to get in. And I did a little search on these. One of them came from Indonesia, close to Jakarta, and the other one somewhere in Germany. So I'm pretty sure they aren't the customer or any clients trying to get into the website. Could also be a VPN, but our clients aren't using VPNs. All right, so WordFence I talked about a little bit earlier. Does everyone use it? Do most people use it? Got a couple of hands, a couple of shakes. So I like using this one. It's been our default tool that we've been using to scan malware. This is what you kind of see when you actually use it. It tells you what's out of date. So this one here, the WordPress core code is out of date, so very minor. This one here, Generate Press, the theme, is out of date, so it's a little bit minor there as well. And then it also gives you an indicator of what plugins may be out of date or aren't supported anymore. So it's got quite a few nice things there, but this is where it gets a little bit more detailed. So if it does find any malicious code, it looks for various patterns like this. This is one example, and it gives you an idea of what that particular malicious code might be. So this one is a critical error. I can't remember what exactly this one was or where it was because I deleted it. But it's obviously hack code from what we're looking at here. I couldn't find a good example of this, but the WordFence will also give you a diff, or it will compare what it sees on the WordPress repository to what you actually have installed. This is just the changing of the copyright. I know it's not a hack because I couldn't find an example of it, but it will give you an indicator that the file has been manipulated in a malicious way. Now, this is more of a nasty one, and we've seen this hack quite a lot recently this year. It's a Russian hacking group. I know because I translated that, and it translated to something like end debugging here or something like that. It's very clear. Okay, yeah, just translated from Russian. But this bit here, this is all encrypted in base64. I've seen this for ages. You can decrypt this, and you can try and work out what's doing. Don't waste your time. But we've seen a lot of this, and this is actually stored in a plugin. I can't remember what it's called. I think, oh no, this is in the theme. But we either see this in a theme or in plugins such as WP code snips or something like that. I don't use them quite often, but it allows you to inject PHP code and store it within the database. So that's why it's really important to actually scan your databases as well, because the hacker's actually storing it in those plugins like that and then executing it within the back end of WordPress. Kind of crazy. If you're executing code within the WordPress database, try and look for a better way of doing it. So this particular website here, we had to update Generate Press because that's where a lot of the hacks were. So they've gone through and manipulated a lot of the code within the child theme and added in all these hacks. So what you saw back here, they manipulated the child theme and added in that code in multiple different places. So if you're only deleting it in one place, you may have missed it. So we had to go through everything and repair that particular theme. The other thing that we noticed on this website was the amount of administrators on there. 38. So We had to clean that up. We deleted it down to, I think, 1. And then every other user on there, we could demote to an editor or an author. Because obviously, if you have administrator access, you can install plugins, you do whatever you want. So let's demote those users so they don't have that kind of right access to the website anymore. But yeah, 38 was insane. Has anyone seen any more than that? 102, right, okay. Administrators, okay. Ah, right. Right, okay. Oops. Whoops. Whoops. All right. Other patterns that we've seen over the years, modified HT access files. So a lot of hosting environments get rid of this now. Header and footer code, like I talked about a little bit earlier. You may be using a header, like a page builder, theme builder that allows you to create a header and a footer. They may inject the code in there. We see this a lot as well, WP File Manager. That gets installed, and once that's installed, the hackers can upload whatever they want. And the only reason why they would have that on the WordPress installation because they don't have direct server access. So that kind of gives them the ability to change permissions, execute whatever files they want. So anytime I see that installed on a WordPress website, I'm kind of very suspicious of what's going on already. And then strange plugins as well. We see this a lot. It looks like a right plugin. It's got a nice little name or whatever, but then when you dig a little bit deeper, you realize that it's all malicious. So they hide things very well. This is in one of those, I can't remember what it's called, like CSS, JS, header, footer kind of code plugins, whatever they're called. It looks like Google Tag Manager code, and you think, okay, that's quite normal. They'll usually record the last modified date, and if that kind of lines up with when your website was hacked, you can look at that and go, hey, what's this extra strange line here? JavaScript being pulled in from another website saying free website statistics, not even spelt right. So yeah, there's something going on there. So we need to, if you don't know, then re-implement the Google tag code. But here we could just delete that, and we know it's a malicious JavaScript code that was being pulled in, and then redirecting users to another website. So lots of places that we need to look at here. Oh, yeah, already spoke about that. So now, hopefully, you've cleaned up your website hack. You removed the JavaScript that was being added in. You removed the hack code. You need to now go back to Google Search Console and request a review. Here you can see in this particular screenshot, this is probably a better one. You can see the hacked URL injection, the malware, harmful downloads, uncommon downloads, deceptive pages, unclear mobile billing. So lots of issues there. Hopefully you've cleared them all up. You can request a review, and then that big red screen, once it's been reviewed, will be removed from the Google search, and clients can then get back to your website. Okay, so what next? More security. Yeah, more security. We need more. Protect the websites. Firewalls, WAFs. Use plugins such as WordFence, Security, or PatchStack. PatchStack have their own service as well. Use stronger passwords. Password managers, if you're not using one, highly recommend it. 2FA or HTPass even, just to make things a little bit harder for hackers to get through. Even use unique email addresses for each one of your websites. Unique usernames, unique passwords. Keep everything up to date. Use the audit loggers like I showed a little bit earlier. And then minimize the amount of plugins that you can use on your website. I find that very useful. So often I go to a brand new website, 74 plugins installed. I don't know what half the plugins do. I don't even know if the client is using those plugins. But if you can keep that to a minimum, it makes that management so much easier. I think we use maybe, yeah, I got it open here. 1, 2, 3, 4 plugins. And technically I don't even need that one. So keep that to a minimum. Backups, we use 3 different types of backups. and it just gives me that peace of mind. Like someone else, I can't remember who presented yesterday, make sure you test your backup process so you can actually restore. So it's, yes, great presentation. So if you can't restore from your backup process, there's absolutely no point. So practice that and make sure you know how to go through it. And then if you can, go static. If you go static and you deliver a HTML-based website where there's no attack points, it's pretty good. So this is one of the plugins that we like, well, a couple of plugins that we used over the years to do manual backups, Updraft, all-in-one WP migration backup, really good plugins. We also use Managed WP from time to time to do an extra third-party incremental backup. So it's a really good service. Very cheap. It's like $1.20 or something per website to do a backup. It's automated again. So it's nice to have that extra peace of mind. And of course, your hosting environment would have their own backups as well, hopefully. The extra levels of protection. Now I'm going through a manuals structure from yesterday, from Stack, talking about protecting your website from the top down, from the DNS level down to the server level, website level, PHP level. So first off, we should look into a DNS level protection, such as Cloudflare, the web application there, web application firewall. It does a great job of blocking a lot of the common security threats out there. I can't remember how much it costs off the top of my head. I think it's around 20 US. Somewhere around there. The next thing to look at, if your hosting environment was compromised, maybe it's not the best WordPress-focused hosting. There's plenty of sponsors here. Kinsta is one of them that focus on security for WordPress environments. And of course, we also have Stack that also do have a nice security suite in there. I was looking at it last night. They have a nice malware scanner. So what I showed you a little bit earlier with the malware scanner with WordFence, Stack have that built into their hosting environment as well. So kind of a nice option there too. I haven't used it myself, but just good to learn about it. I like this. It's just a really simple HTTP password. You can put it on top of the WP admin folder. It blocks that brute force attack. It hits this before the PHP loads. So it kind of reduces the load, and it's just another username and password. If you've never seen that before, I'll try and find a tutorial and I'll link it through here. So if you want to find out how to set up a HTTP password, some hosting environments don't let you do it, but if they do, it's a good option. PatchStack, I mentioned it before, they do have their own solution for protecting your website as well. So I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I think you connect your website through their dashboard and then they'll monitor what's happening on your website. So if you have a plugin or theme or whatever that comes up on their vulnerability list, they'll alert you and then you can do something about it. Hopefully that plugin's been patched. Get it up to date as quickly as possible. WordFence security, I talked about before as well. So if you can, use them. And then password managers. Who's not using a password manager? Or who is? Good, good. Yeah, so I didn't mention them. So I didn't mention them. Yeah, yeah. Really? Okay. Dashlane. I should put that up as well. I like Bitwarden. It's open source. Very, very cheap as well. But use a password manager if you're not. Oh, beautiful. Oh, fantastic. That's really good. Another option that you can do, so you stop using usernames and passwords on your website, is to use single sign-on. This is a little bit more difficult to set up for some people, but it is an extra option that you can do. That way you can rely on Google's single sign-on infrastructure. In saying that, apparently they had a compromise last week or something like that. So even this kind of solution isn't safe. It's a centralized solution, and even they can get compromised. So that was a thing, because I just read the headline and went, oh, yeah, okay, it was a thing. All right. This is a nice way of anonymizing your email. So if you don't want your email to be compromised, Addy is a really good solution. They've got a free tier. And this is, we go through this and put it on every single website. So I have a unique email on the website. They all get redirected to a main website. So I don't need to log into all these different ones. But was it Dashlane that had it? No, Bitwarden had it as well. I haven't used it in a while, but it's a nice step to add in. Two-factor authentication, enable it. WordFence has it built into it, but then also there are various plugins out there where you can use two-factor authentication. I haven't used this one here personally myself. I prefer the WordFence one. We've just been using it for a long time, so I think that's my bias using it. But there are many other options as well. This one had some decent reviews, so it seemed okay. If you want to go really hardcore, who's got a YubiKey? 1, 2, 3, about 5 people, not bad. Now, this is a nice way to have a two-factor authentication on a physical device. The bad thing about this is when you lose a YubiKey, you freak out. And I've done that so many times. So I kind of attach it to like a big leash thing now so I don't lose it. But instead of using a Google Authenticator app or something else that creates that one-time password, you have a physical device that you have to actually touch to authenticate with the website. So it's a really nice security device to have as well, unless you lose it. Yeah, so you have a backup of it, yeah. The other alternative here also is to use Web3 logins. And there's a nice way that you can essentially use a Web3 wallet to log into your website. And this is an example here. This is a plugin that we built, and it logs into various websites purely by connecting a Web3 wallet. So here is a list of some Web3 wallets. I'm going to log into this one here. Yep. So confirm. So you still have to type in what is my password? Yeah, so you still have to type in a password, but the good thing here is that the password doesn't ever leave your computer. It's all done on your local client. It doesn't connect to the database or the server or the website itself, and none of your personal data is actually stored on the website either. The way that the Web3 wallets work is that it anonymizes all that stuff, creates a hash of your email, no, it doesn't even create a hash of your email address, creates a hash of your wallet address. So you can see here, howdy hash, whatever that is, it's not a name or an email. So if this website here gets compromised, your data isn't leaked. So it's a nice option there as well. And then the last thing I mentioned was going completely static. So this is a nice plugin. I've used it once in the past. You have your WordPress website. What it will do, it will crawl through it and create a static version of it, which then you can upload to Amazon S3 and have CloudFront in front of that. And then you'll have a complete copy of your website, but it's static. Downside to that is if you're blogging every single day and updating your website, you have to regenerate this all the time. I do, yeah. For example, this website here, this is our main agency website. We went all techie on it. It has a nice React.js front end, and anytime I blog post or anything like that, I actually have to run it through what's called a pipeline on Bitbucket to generate the static version of the website, and then that uploads it to Amazon S3. So in terms of compromising the website, it's a lot less because it doesn't have that exposed front end of WordPress. So this is a nice solution where you can go static as well. Really. Now, if you need more help, ask a developer. There's a lot of tools there you can go through, but if you get overwhelmed, ask a dev, someone with a lot of experience that can help you through. So you can scan that, get some stuff. And we've got 10 minutes for questions.
Steve, Great talk.
Yep.
It's not really a question. I just want to really reiterate the point you made about keeping everything up to date to prevent the hacks. I work for a large marketplace. We see hundreds of reports coming through Hashtag and other vendors. Everything has vulnerabilities found.
Yeah.
Developers are constantly fixing, vulnerabilities in their stuff and uploading it to the marketplace. WordPress will always go through there. If people aren't updating, then you're just leaving yourself alone. Everyone has to keep themes, WordPress, plugins, everything up to date.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to reiterate that.
And there's no excuse because like WordPress, you can auto update your plugins as well. It's all enabled in the backend. Who scanned? Gotcha. That's the serious one. Okay. I woke up at 3 a.m. and thought of that, and I thought, I've got to add that in. That's why I put the links there. Okay, but it was just, we had a conversation, Stephen, you were there last night, we were talking about scanning QR codes to order food. And there was a scam and a hack about people putting on fake QR codes onto those order things, taking you to a fake website, taking your credit card details. So don't trust every QR code that you're scanning. This one's okay. Trust me. Yeah. But if you didn't scan that one, you can scan it. Yep.
Hey, one of the things I noticed you didn't have in the list of things to do for websites was to obfuscate the WP admin URL to change it to something else.
Yeah.
I use that a lot, and it stops a lot of stuff.
I don't, because we use some plugins that conflict with that. So I've always had, not always, but there's some plugins that we use that look for specific URL patterns for the WP admin, and it just stuffs us up because we might do like a custom front-end login or something like that. And because we're using those things, it stuffs it up. So we do use it. I have used it in the past, but then when I started running into issues, I had to like move on, and just putting the HD password thing on does the same kind of thing.
Yep.
I had a client though that changed the WPM URL and then put it into the robots.txt file. And so he said to me, I have put this really cool name so nobody can find it. And I literally just went into the robots.txt file and went, is it this? And he went,
Great.
I wouldn't change the URL for that, and I just block it at the firewall level. So you put a human authenticator on it. If you do that with Cloudflare, then it will actually ask them, it will check their traffic, whether it sees it legit or not. And if it's unsure, then I'll put a human checkbox in front of them. Because changing the URL on the admin doesn't stop any hacking intent, because you're still hitting the resources on the server. So you're kind of trying to protect from one space, but you're still having resource running on the other.
Yeah, there's a nice way to whitelist your IP addresses as well at that level, so you can stop any traffic going to your web server unless it comes from a certain IP address. All in Cloudflare too. Yeah.
Wouldn't if you go static, wouldn't that affect SEO?
What was it?
Wouldn't it affect SEO because you put a website static? Like what you would change it?
No, it works fine. If anything, it is better because it's faster.
But with SEO, it wouldn't affect, because how would the search engines will read the content if it's static, right?
It's how do I explain this? It's still a normal website. It's still HTML. Like, it's not static as in an image. Is that what you mean? Yeah. It's still HTML and all that. So Google can still read it as normal. And if anything, it's faster because it's it doesn't use any server resources to load. So if you look at our website and just do a page speed insight test, whatever it's called, you can see the speed score of that, the cumulative layout shift, all those other things. It's really high, and that's because we went like full static. But that's a really edge example. Yeah.
You mentioned WP file manager.
Yeah.
And so what was the problem with that?
Well, okay.
The only reason why we'd use that is if you don't have server level access. And if you don't have server level access, you probably shouldn't be on that website. Yeah? Yeah. So if you own the website, if you're a developer with authorized access, you probably have server level access, so you can use like a file manager within your.
Use something like cPanel or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So you have that authority, but then when other developers start putting in WP file manager, you don't have access, so you install that so you can get access to do things. And hackers usually do that so they can upload a particular plugin onto the website, like malicious code, and then execute. Yeah.
Ironically, it's a bit like a legitimate backdoor.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I see it, it's like, site's been compromised. Yeah.
Are you aware of any tools that will actually scan the database for suspicious?
I don't actually. I have to download the database and run a scan across it. So I just look for a couple of patterns that are common, like the encode base64, a couple of other ones as well, and pretty quick, like the scripts that the guys have built. Check where it might. Probably not as thorough as maybe third-party ones that might do better, but picked up a lot for us.
Yeah.
When you say the database, you mean the MySQL thing with all the tables in it?
Yes. Yeah, because if they're using a plugin to inject that in, such as like whatever it is, and they're putting the code into the WordPress database, it's the only way to get out.
That can be hidden in any table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your experience, what is the end outcome that you observe from these compromises? For example, what kind of pages have been added, what kind of adjustments? In my experience, I've seen kind of advertising for kind of like scam businesses and like backlinks to random casinos websites.
Yeah, all that above, everything, appendage enlargements, Viagra, pharmaceutical stuff. Oh, sorry. All that kind of stuff, cryptocurrency scams. Because I work in the crypto space, I see it every single day.
So, we're just battling it. Yeah.
And given you're working in the crypto space, do you feel there's kind of a heightened level of attention and attacking potentially on WordPress websites that maybe intersect with crypto? Is that why your site is maybe a bit static instead of?
I don't see a real intersect between the two. It's mainly just trying to drive, like, if they're attacking a website, they're just trying to drive users to somewhere else. That might be. I think if there's like a big push or something, in the crypto space, if there's a price rise in a particular thing, then they'll probably focus on that at that particular time to try and capture those people. But usually it's like banking details they're after. It's a quickie, well, not quick and easy, but it's the most common one you can get through.
And then we'll go there. Yeah.
For that child theme exploit, do they have to have like admin access, or can it be like injected?
I think they injected via a vulnerable plugin. I can't remember, but I don't think I saw a WP file manager. And I believe they must have gotten in through a vulnerable plugin or theme that wasn't updated, and then the owner came in and updated afterwards. Things were safe, but would have
already been compromised at that point in time.
I've seen once one thing gets infected or one plugin gets infected, some of these actually then inject code in all of the other things, all of the other plugins. Well, not all of them, because maybe some of them.
Yeah. So if I see one theme gets compromised, then I just assume there might be malicious code elsewhere as well. So every last other plugin just gets reinstalled from the repository, completely deleted. There's like really simple commands that you can run from WP CLI that scans through all your plugins and just reinstalls them all, deletes and reinstalls, cleans up your entire installation. And if you're doing custom dev, you're developing in Git, you can Git restore your stuff, restore your website directly from WordPress repository, and you have a clean install as well. But of course, look into your hosting environment too, because that might be where the back on this side. Yeah.
I was just going to answer yours about the database scanning. We use Bitninja on our servers, which will do full database scanning. So it's malware detection at the server level, AI heuristics, so it's real time as opposed to Cloud Scanner, which is typically on Linux servers that goes once a day or whenever you set the schedule. So Bitninja is real time on database and on files and on the infrastructure that you're running.
Bitninja. I'll add it to the slides. Thank you.